Aloha to my personal development students. Welcome once again to another session in personal development where we shall tackle Module 13, Train to be Smart, Dump Being Dumb. The previous modules helped you understand the different parts of the brain, its processes, and functions, that further enabled you to explore ways in improving your brain functions through mind mapping activities. This module will help you understand the value of growing one's intelligence by developing a personal plan. So, you will be expected that at the end of the lesson, you will be able to develop a personal plan to enhance your brain functions. As we begin, let us first define the following terms. Remember that neurons are brain cells that transmit electromagnetic signals from one to another as a response to stimuli in the environment. Electromagnetic signals are impulses that the neurons produce to send message from one neuron to another. Mindset is a group of beliefs formed by personal ideas about the realities of the world. And the word dumb is a word usually used to label people who are somewhat slow to learn or adapt to the environment. I hope that you will recall these terms as we go on with our discussion. Let us proceed to pretest. Fact or myth? Directions. Read and analyze the statements below. Put a check mark if the statement is a fact and put a wrong mark in the box provided if the statement is a myth. Write your answers in your journal. 1. Human intelligence is static, it does not change the moment you are born. 2. Brain's growth has nothing to do with intelligence's growth. 3. Growth mindset believes in the idea that human intelligence can improve. 4. Daily physical exercise helps in improving one's intelligence. 5. Planning to improve one's intelligence depends on the person's willingness to engage in such activity. Learning Activity 1. Rediscovering my own giftedness. Directions. Relive the moment when you were just a kid, using the chart below. Identify those things that you usually enjoy doing or that you think you are good at. Remember, you do not need to be experts on these fields, you just need to recognize that these gifts have been part of you as a kid, or still even now as an adolescent. You might be surprised that these innate abilities of yours are gift which you should have nurtured. Color the parts that suits your identified gifts. Processing questions. What can you say about your giftedness as shown from the chart above? Were there new discoveries and/or realizations after doing this activity? Explain briefly. Activity 2. Gift Unwrapping. Directions. Using your output for Activity A, it is good to visually see how you imagine your intelligence wrapped as personal giftedness. Whether you have 1, 2, or more areas shaded in Activity A, you need to illustrate only one image that will best represent your giftedness. Draw it inside the gift box, as if it is already unwrapped. Go and enjoy unwrapping your giftedness. Processing questions. 1. How do you describe your unwrapped gift? Does it truly resemble your personal giftedness? How? 2. If you will be given the chance to further improve that gift, how will you do it? Discuss at least 2 concrete ways to do it. You might be wondering at this point why the activities you have conducted are somewhat related to multiple intelligences. Yes, they are the different intelligences as mentioned by Howard Gardner. Before we continue talking about intelligence, let us first have a shift in our mindset about human intelligence. Traditionally, we view intelligence as a crown worn only by those students excelling in mathematics and science, or those who are fluent speakers of the English language. Through time, we shall realize that there are students who might not be excelling in these subjects but are excellent leaders, creative artists, effective listeners, and top survivors during camping activities in schools. If these individuals will not be considered intelligent, then what do we call their abilities? Here comes the concept of multiple intelligences of Gardner. However, this concept is no longer our focus since this has been taught already when you were still in grade 7. The focus of this module is for you to further appreciate that your intelligence or in various forms can still be grown. Therefore, let us dump the idea that people are born either intelligent, average, or dumb, and stays the same throughout their lifetime. By saying that you can grow your intelligence does not equate the statement, you can grow your brain. As you already know, intelligence is not a physical aspect of the mind, rather it is part of mind's functions which is not necessarily dependent upon the size of the human brain, though other researches suggest so but is not the focus of this module's discussions. So, the real questions at hand are, can you really make yourself smarter? What do studies say about this? What are the different ways to do so? Is it achievable? In the learner's material for personal development, The growth of the brain functions can be associated to a person's muscle. It can grow when you use it. Hence, the more that we learn, the more that we can maximize the human brain's capacity to understand. To explain further, neurons, brain cells, nature must be understood first. The human brain is composed of billions of neurons. Its basic function is to transmit electromagnetic signals to the different parts of the body so that the body would function according to what the central processing unit of the body, brain, would dictate. Learning and challenging the mind further to its greatest extent can improve the performance of the neurons in that they grow and they multiply. Later, you will be surprised about your own abilities. There are things which you do not do normally but can be improved further by just practicing the mind. What evidence do we have to prove that this can happen? One section from your personal development reader will help us understand this concept further. You can find this on page 50 of your reader, but the same concept is summarized here for your easy access and reference. Scientists have been studying about animals' brain and they found that animals that lived in an environment that is stimulating, having other animals around and toys to play with, had more connections between the nerve cells in their brains, and that their brains were bigger, stronger, and heavier than those animals that lived in isolation. This finding is because of the reality that those animals that lived in isolation spent their time mostly in sleeping and eating, while those that lived with animals and toys were active discovering how to get along with other animals and how to use the toys. Further, the animals that lived with others were smarter, observed from their way of solving and learning new things. Surprisingly, this is also true to old animals, if they will be given the chance to live with others and play toys. So, what does this study implies about human intelligence? Scientists are thinking that maybe the same process applies to human beings. And that human intelligence is malleable, it can be shaped accordingly, if only it is exposed to appropriate environment and enough stimulation. There are two major perspectives on human intelligence: fixed mindset and growth mindset. Read and study the infographic below and answer the questions that follow. A person with a fixed mindset is constrained by their beliefs and thoughts. They believe people are born with special talents and every person has different abilities and intelligence that cannot get better with time, persistence, and effort. They think of failures as a validation of their lack of intelligence and their limited abilities that prevents them from achieving their goals. They give up easily with the fear of failure and a belief that they cannot improve. A person with a growth mindset finds freedom in their thoughts and beliefs. They understand that certain people have special talents and that intelligence varies from person to person, but it's also something that can be developed and increased with effort and hard work. They take joy in the learning process that comes from seeking new information, forming new strategies, and taking inspiration from others. They embrace difficulties and challenges as a means to develop new skills and grow. Let us test your takeaways on fixed and growth mindset. A. In 1 or 2 sentences, differentiate fixed and growth mindset. B. Based on your initial assessment of your own point of view about intelligence, in which side do you belong? Explain. C. What are your discoveries about human intelligence? How do you feel about these discoveries? Expound your answer. By embracing the growth mindset and believing that intelligence can be grown, we can now conclude that your intelligence can be developed as well. A person must not be labeled dumb when he cannot solve equations yet, because solving problems can be learned. If one cannot speak English language fluently yet, it does not mean that he has no longer chance to improve or learn it. Though we vary in terms of our innate abilities, because genetic factors may also play, but genes alone do not determine our chance to develop our brain. The nurture aspect or the factors that surround the person's learning experience also plays a significant role. There are also individuals that belong to the extreme ends of the normal curve who can be considered geniuses, or those who can be considered with intellectual disorders, but this does not limit their growth potential in their own level of capacities. Hence, as a student who belong in the regular class, there is always a chance for you to better your intelligence. You must stop using others' level of intelligence to yours but start building up what you can grow in terms of your own intelligence. Besides, intelligence has different faces, considering multiple intelligences. There are things that you are good at that others are not, and there are things that you need to improve that others excel. Be aware of your strengths and weaknesses and start to plan out how to make yourself better every day. You can do it if you will. At this point, it is already appropriate to talk about the concrete ways on how to improve intelligence. The basic concept about brain development is that it grows when it is stimulated by the environment. Stimulation happens when our senses are activated, and we become aware of the things happening around us. By processing the information from our world, we question things and we acquire answers to questions. When questions are answered, this brings us to further questioning and further chance to improve our learning. From the concept of growth mindset, it suggests that learning does not stop, and it is a lifetime process, hence, we have a lifetime to improve ours. Below is an infographic that can help you identify ways in improving your own intelligence. Read and comprehend the process and identify ways that are appropriate to your situation. Below is an infographic that can help you identify ways in improving your own intelligence. Read and comprehend the process and identify ways that are appropriate to your situation. My takeaways on improving my intelligence. Directions. Summarize each step into one sentence or phrase only. Write your answers below. Below are more concrete ways on how to improve your intelligence. Read and comprehend each. Others might be suitable to your setup. 1. Read books, and read a lot. Reading and literacy can be linked to intelligence. It can enhance your vocabulary and intellectual functioning. It stimulates your brain and keeps it healthy, essential to improving your memory. It can also be associated to having better interpersonal skills and emotional intelligence. 2. Use filtered news services. Getting updated and overloading news do not mean higher intelligence. What is emphasized here are filtered news, those that are credible and trustworthy. It will give you better perspective on current events and topics in your field of interest. Do not waste time in irrelevant information. Make sure to spend time learning from materials which will benefit you in the long run. 3. Hang out with smart people. Connect with people who can inspire you and whose lives are considered successful. The diversity of ideas and opinions may help you sharpen your brain. You should start choosing who to spend most of your time with. It has been said that you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. 4. Aim to do something new every day. Doing new things help you become more adaptable to changes. It will give you new learning that will further help you in exploring the world and yourself. It can also promote creativity and innovation that will further help in deepening your character. 5. Play board games. Playing board games improve your logical thinking skills. It will also improve your learning skills. Studies would also suggest that it decreases your risk to develop age-related cognitive disorders. Playing chess, together with mathematics instructions, do better in standardized tests and grades than those who were only given mathematics instructions without chess training. 6. Make a list of the things you have done. This is different from a to-do list. This will help you boost your happiness and confidence, found to be components of intelligence. Feeling good about yourself and your abilities make you become more motivated about improving your own intelligence. 7. Learn a new language. Learning a new language boosts your cognitive abilities. It can even improve areas in the brain that are not related to intelligence. By learning new languages, you are preventing the onset of dementia for a significant number of years. Further, it hones your memory capacity. 8. Explain what you know to others. If you are given the chance to teach a lesson in front of your classmates, you are also given the chance to fully comprehend the material, recall it correctly, and apply it directly. This can also explain why studies have found that firstborn children tend to be more intelligent than their subsequent siblings because they spend more time teaching the younger ones, if they do so. 9. Practice mindfulness. It is the capacity to focus on the current moment. This practice helps boost your ability to make smarter decisions. Some studies suggest that multitasking damages the brain. Switching attention quickly from one thing to another have lower density in the area of the brain that is responsible for empathy, cognitive, and emotional control. 10. Write your notes by hand. Research shows that writing by hand retains information longer by having more time in digesting ideas. Writing by hand helps you become mindful of what you write, considering the meaning behind the words. By writing down, you can also practice listening, summarizing information, and listing down of key words, since it is impossible to write everything that the teacher dictates. Hence, the brain is more engaged and active. 11. Have a regular workout. Exercising boosts intelligence in many ways. It sharpens focus, improves memory and recall, enhances productivity. It is also directly related to improving one's mental health and functioning. This is because physical activity leads to many biological responses in your muscles and organs that eventually affects the brain structure and functions. 12. Allow yourself to daydream. Daydreaming allows you to arrive at deep insights and cultivate your imagination and creativity. By allowing your brain to relax for a while, you allow your brain to make connections among the multiple ideas in it. 13. Socialize. Scientists are starting to see that more social interaction can more likely make you smarter. But this will only happen when you are engaged in conversations and trying to understand different points of views. 14. Draw, paint, or color. Children become more prepared to learn in school when the growth of their brain is associated to engaging them with arts. It improves imagination that has a crucial role in developing your brain. And 15. Travel as often as you can. When you expose yourself to unfamiliar environments, you produce more neurons in anticipation of new experiences. This will also prepare the brain to develop ways in dealing with this new environment. By traveling, you are forced to think in new ways and embrace diverse cultural practices. For our wrap-up, answer the following questions. A. What important concepts have you learned from this module? Enumerate at least 3, in bullet form. B. What have you discovered about yourself in relation to the module? How do you feel about these discoveries? Explain your answers in a maximum of 3 sentences only. Application. Brain Go Wino. You are already familiar with ways on how to improve your intelligence. Now, you are ready to make your own plan on how to improve yours. The same with Physical Boost. This requires time and effort, but it is not impossible. You set high goals for yourself, but you begin small. Below is a game you are familiar with, Bingo. Its difference from the real game is that you can dictate whether you win it or not. In this activity, you will be given the chance to choose your manner of winning, pattern. And luck is not the only chance for you to win, it includes your willingness to win. Directions. Choose among the patterns below. Choose the pattern which you think will give you more chances of winning. This depends upon your pacing. Whether you wanted to start from 4 small ways or if you are ready to do 9 full swings. After identifying your winning pattern, use the blank brain card below to write down specific ways in improving your own intelligence. You may choose among the list suggested above or you may add up your own personal ways. After writing down ways, color the boxes of your winning pattern. Here is your brain card. Here is your brain card. Identifying ways to improve your intelligence is not enough. You need to plot it out so that goals are specifically set with time frame and logical pattern of arrangement. Directions. Provided below is a sample roadmap. You customize your roadmap depending on the number of ways you have chosen above. Plot the different ways as to what comes first and what comes last. Also, provide specific details and timeframe when would you like to achieve all of these. Post-test. Mythbusters. Directions. Below is a list of 10 statements pertaining to the lesson we discussed. Bust every myth you see by crossing it out from the group. Assignment. I can grow my intelligence. Directions. Write a statement, as if an FB post, that will generalize your learning in this module. At the end of the statement, write your name below and use the hashtag provided. You can also post this statement directly to your Facebook or Twitter wall to promote growth mindset. Here is the key to corrections. Thank you, my dear students. I hope that you can develop a personal plan to enhance your brain functions. If you are new in my channel, please like, share, and subscribe. God bless you all.